I'm Leonard Stevenson. I'm 40 years old. I'm born and raised in the Bronx. I'm a teacher. Luckily, I've had the joy of teaching things that I consider my hobbies: rock climbing, ballroom dance. I was an outward bound instructor for a little while. I teach karate and basic computer skills. And for a while in my life, I was homeless. I was out of work because I quit a job that I felt very uncomfortable at and felt discriminated against a little bit. So I was sleeping on my mother's couch in the place where I grew up at. And it was myself, my sister, her two kids at the time, and my mother. We're all staying in this house. We're all depressed. We're all grumpy. So this one morning, beginning of March, I was sleeping on a couch, and I wake up, and my nephew, I think he was 8 at the time, he had his toys all over the living room, and when I got up, I nearly tripped on one of his toys. So I said to him in a nice way, Tanel, you need to put your toys away. And he got upset about it, and he went to talk to my mother about it. And so my mother, she got upset that I was giving him instructions, and we were arguing back and forth, and I was telling her I didn't say anything harsh to him. I was just telling him I almost tripped. And she was very upset to the point where I guess she felt she had to reestablish her dominance in the household again. And she said, well, if you don't like the way things are here or the way I do things, you could always leave. And she said it in a offhanded way, like she wasn't telling me to go, but she just said, well, it's my way or the highway, basically. So I waited a few beats, and all of a sudden it clicked, things are miserable here, and I need to change. And so I said to her, you know what? I will leave. And I started gathering what little things I can when she's yelling at me the whole time, and I just had to get out of there because I knew that it was around that time I was realizing that I was depressed enough where I needed help, where I knew it was something, not just me feeling weird or whatever, despite the fact that all I went through beforehand. So I packed up what little I could, and ended up staying at a facility called Ward's Island Men's Shelter. I think it was Charles H. Gay Shelter for Men. And they said, okay, the bus to go there leaves at this time, so whatever you do, make that bus. At this time, I was working at this rock climbing gym since October 1999. And they closed the gym for renovations because they were expanded. So I went to my boss, and I told him that I'm literally going to a shelter that day. Is there anything you can do in terms of work? And, I was working at the time. I was a foot messenger, making like $179 every 2 weeks. So I told him all this, and he was like, you know what? Don't worry about it. So basically, I got hired to just sit in the room and be a gopher for the guys who were putting up this wall, just babysitting the whole time until it was open. So that day I went, caught the bus to Ward's Island, and got processed there, and then they assigned me a bed. Now, with the Charles H. Gay facility, it's a big facility where everyone goes there. I guess it's the beginning of their journey. So there's maybe 5 or 6 different buildings. Every night, at 8 o'clock, you have to be at that facility, whether you go to work or just hang out, to re-sign in for your bed. The routine of the day there was at 7 o'clock, you wake up and you do what you have to do. If you have to shower, get dressed, whatever, and you go eat breakfast. And at that point, you cannot stay in the bed area at all until maybe in the early evening. Many of the reasons why people were there, all different from mine. But it was definitely a stressful environment to be in, because one, of course, you have to submit to their authority, which is necessary, but of course you have to be humble and swallow your pride. So you can't get into fights, because if you get into any altercations, you're kicked out for 3 to 6 months, where no shelter in the whole city will take you in until that time frame, so you're on the street or whatever. I think I was there for around 6 to 9 months, saving my money. I got more freedom to do things, more job development classes, They took my paycheck and set some aside for my for my rent and deposit for when I get an apartment. My fiance, she didn't think we were serious. I was serious about marrying her. At this point, we've been together for 11 years, through thick and thin. It was slim pickings to find any place to live. So what ultimately happens is I find a place for us in Jamaica, Queens, in this house. And we ultimately got married and, lived in that place as newlyweds. And it was such a great feeling now to have our own place. I got this mailbox card made, this silver mailbox card made that said the Stevensons. I got to take that off and put the Stevensons on there. Me taking responsibility for myself, that's when things started to change for me in terms of my maturity and just knowing what I wanted and going out to get it. And it definitely helped me grow as a person and just made me realize just how good I had it and how good God is to me and just the beauty of the city.